To start off, what's up, everybody? Welcome, anybody who's new out there, wallstreetjesus.com. If you have any questions on anything we discussed today and like to learn more information, you go to wallstreetjesus.com. The strategy section will answer a lot of your questions. Market updates, free market updates, usually pre and post market on flow, sentiment, a whole bunch of stuff. And then the products tab is where you can learn more about Lucci courses, the private Twitter feed. All right. And we offer a free trial, 3-day trial, no credit card required if you want to get a little closer look and see what we do. All right. All right. Let's talk about the market and how things ended up today. Okay. Which, yeah, we didn't know it was coming today per se, right? I mean, honestly, I thought a day like this at some point was going to happen at the end of the week. Monday wouldn't have shocked me one bit, and today shouldn't shock any of us. All right, they've been plowing into specific sectors of the market, right? And a lot of these names have really taken off. All right, they've really exploded, okay? And what happens is, eventually, when they get a bit too extended, unless money is going to rotate into other groups, you're going to get some weakness, okay? We'll see if going into tomorrow, all right, I was trying to see if we get maybe some clues out of the flow into the bell today, if, you know, any clues of possible rotation, because they've been really reluctant, especially of late. They've been really staying away from a lot of the economically sensitive names, especially now that you have this trade war rhetoric heating up a little bit again. You know, there was a Boeing sweep in the money for this week, a bounce sweep. You know, that could be a clue. But we'll see what the flow looks like off the open. You know, should be a lot cleaner because there was a lot of rolling out there today. All right, but point being is, you know, like, look at some of these names here, right? We were talking about them. We've been talking about them for the past 2 weeks, right? Up every single day. D-Dog, just nuts, right? Absolutely nuts. And, you know, they don't all look like this, right? But even big names like Apple, Microsoft, eventually they get tired. People decide to take some profits. It's a May expiration. Players decide to roll positions, right? That's a form of profit taking. Buyers dry up and you're going to get some sort of pull, right? So it can go a few different ways here, right? We were talking about today how we would have loved to see either a rotation for a couple days, right? At least a couple days into some of the stuff that didn't participate. But let's be honest, it's hard for us to get, even for a trade, to buy some of these things, right? I mean, do you really want to buy the banks right now? Right? But that's where they would rotate if there's rotation, okay? And what I mean by rotation is not, you know, I think that's a big problem, and I'm not trying to knock anybody, okay? But, you know, it's a degenerate characteristic. It really is, whether you realize it or not. But a lot of problems, especially with newer traders, they always get so dramatic. You know what I mean? They always take things to an extreme. All right, so I'm talking about a little rotation happening here, and automatically they assume, all right, rotation into the banks and, you know, what, new highs, right? Or today the market starts selling off, is this going to be the test of new lows, right? It automatically, they go from one extreme to another instantly. There's a ton of in between those extremes, a ton, okay? So what I mean by a form of rotation here is they come into some of the stuff that it has been looking like absolute crap, and you get, you know, these things, little bounces, okay? And while they do that, the likelihood is all the names that we've been focused on, right? All the names that have been catching the sweeper activity, the most constructive price action, the better looking charts, the better looking earnings, the better looking everything, okay? Those names will see a flush, see some profit taking, shake out some bulls, right? Like we discussed this morning, players who, oh, you know, I don't like this rally. I'm not going to buy Apple. I'm not going to buy Apple. I'm not going to buy Apple, and then bought Apple today, right? Or I'm not going to buy MDB or any of these software names. All right, up 6 straight days. I can't watch it anymore. I'm going to buy it today. And the market likes to shake, you know, those type of players out. All right, so in the meantime, while these things, maybe even a Boeing, as horrible or as dead, doesn't even look horrible, it looks dead. Okay, as dead as Boeing has looked, maybe you get a little bounce over the rest of the week. Possible it lasts longer. There's no way of knowing ahead of time. We'll see how the flow looks. All right, and while that's going on, you're going to see a lot of these hot names. Okay, just breathe it out a bit, and you'll get a lot of information from those breathers. Okay, sometimes they'll come down 2-3 straight days, really, you know, really flush them and then snap back. Sometimes you'll get moves like this MDB did off the Niner here, just sideways, where there's no selling whatsoever. And that's obviously a constructive sign, right? But for me, like with the evidence I have in front of me, right, from what I've been seeing, both off the sweeper activity, the flow, and everything else that's going on in regards to the economy and everything else, what I want to focus on is I want to be ready for when these things offer up another even tactical entry. Okay, why? Because their moves are so clean. You know what I mean? These moves are so clean. It's not a struggle. Right now, the Boeings of the world, all that stuff, it's a struggle. Even when you cash a ticket, it's a struggle in those things. Okay, for good reason. There's a lot of sellers, okay, and just the backdrop is just not there for them yet. It will arrive, all right, and we're going to see, the likelihood is we're going to see flow explode in those names when the time is right. But right now, they're just tough. Every rally, people are looking to get out, again, for good reason. They have, you know, they're very economically sensitive. You got a virus. Are we locked down? Are we coming back too soon? You know, what the hell's going to go on with that? Now Trump is, the rhetoric is starting to blow up tariff-wise and trade war-wise with China. You remember every headline off the trade war, right? Automatically the machines would take the semis down, the casinos down, the industrials down, you know? So they're a tough trade, right? And for me, like I own Boeing and I got time. I own Trip, I got time. You know, for me to trade tactically, I want to look to the other stuff. You know, I want to look towards the other stuff right now. And I don't mind being quicker because the moves are solid. I mean, look at some of the moves we've seen just over the past 2 days, right? If you wanted to play with very minimal risk, you know, you could have traded a name like Chewy today and get the hell out of it, right? And that's one name out of a plethora of names that had some juice and momentum to them. All right, so that's the way I'm looking at it right now, okay? So overall, we have sentiment, big picture-wise, I would say over an intermediate-term horizon, neutral-ish, right? Short-term, like we discussed, a flush would be totally normal, and then get short-term sentiment back in our corner. The likelihood is we're really close, if not there, off today's action, believe it or not, okay? And I want to look towards these things here for tactical trade opportunities. That's what I want to do in the meantime, okay? And if we get, if we get a larger flush or consolidation in these things, right? Then, then we can reevaluate. Maybe we'll have an interest in buying some of these things with time, But when you see names like this, right? When you see names already that look like this, the risk reward with time on these type of names, it's just not there. Because look what already these things, a lot of these things have exploded. Right? So you want to stay tactical, and there's nothing wrong with staying tactical, especially in a market, right? And with NASDAQ even more so, that's rallied we're almost at freaking new highs off those lows. Okay? We got to go to church and do our cross, light a candle, well, if you're Catholic or Christian, and be thankful that we even had anything close to a long setup out there off a move like this. All right, but I still think it's on the tactical side. We want to be quick. You don't want to be too greedy. There may be a name that you like at a nice spot that you don't mind holding. That's totally fine. But as a whole, you really want to pay attention to the risk reward right now, just to be smart about things. Right? They happen to pay you in the same day or the next day, right? Yeah, you may see more, but think about the risk that's involved in seeing more, and make sure you're okay with that. But weakness, as I've been saying, as long as we have Sharpies in our corner the way they are, okay, weakness is the opportunity. Okay, it's not chasing green, right? It's not chasing names that have run 3 straight days and now you're getting excited about them. It's looking for entries off flushes, off pulls, off fades. And why is that our edge? Because with Sharpies in our corner, we're making a bet that there's buyers underneath it. You understand? There's support underneath it. So we want to be buyers when they're sellers, right? And then when they snap them back, you see that snapback rally, that's where you want to take off some risk if you want to really be smart and play a little more conservative up here. All right, so that's my opinion. And what that allows you to do, is still be involved because you want to be involved. Why wouldn't you want to be involved, right? With Sharpies all in, why wouldn't you want to be involved? As long as they're still all in, we want to be involved. As long as the riffraff is still all in freaking short, we want to remain involved. That's another reason why these dips are opportunities. The riffraff is freaking short. Okay? Even if, and they've been short for now, what, 6 weeks, 7 weeks? Okay? They've been short and have gotten trampled. All right? But even if the market wants to give them a little hope and the market comes in a little bit, right? They're going to squeeze them, they're going to run them over. All right? And those are the trades we want to look for. Those are the trades we want to look for. So it's kind of like we feel there's that invisible buyer or that invisible floor of support that's going to come in off weakness, especially when we're seeing sweeper activity into it. All right. And all those names that you like to trade, and now that, I'm looking at and have been looking at, because see, the reason why, you guys know me, I'm usually the rotation guy, right? But the reason why I've been attracted to a lot of these names of recent is because when you go into these type of environments, right? Crash. That's where new leaders emerge, right? Names that you didn't even know existed end up becoming animals out of that environment. Okay, the market's notoriously known for that. Right? Zscaler, Twilio, all those names, out of pullbacks and corrections, that's where they really were born. Right? At highs, those names, they already gone nuts. They went parabolic already, you know, they get away quick. Shop, all these things. So that's why I kind of want to be focused on those primarily for now, unless the flow tells me otherwise, and that's what the flow is signaling anyway. And you know, and we'll see how it plays out. But like, here's an example. I see people talking about Roku, right? So, you know, Roku didn't just catch action today or yesterday. We've seen a good amount of action in Roku the whole rally. No? The whole rally. Okay? And let's say you want to make an argument that, all right, off pulls, right? Pulls or breathers, that's another spot of entry. Okay? But if you want to, you know, if you think you're going to buy Roku up here and you're never going to be underwater, there's no signal or edge in the world that's going to provide that to you. So what I'm explaining to you guys, the way to look at a Roku right now, and it doesn't mean you're going to cash a ticket every time, but you'll have better odds of cashing a ticket. Okay, you got a Roku pull here, right? You got tomorrow morning, some more selling. You see some sweeper activity into Roku. That's your tactical entry. And guess what? What are you looking for? You're looking for at least, right, the top of the range there again. And, you know, the funny thing is like a lot of, I'm not singling out anybody, but a lot of you people are like, that's it? But meanwhile, everyone cries the blues when it went down that much. No? You know, there are trades in these things. It's just a matter of, you know, the spot you're looking to pick at. If you're looking for a spot, you know, a great risk reward spot on a name like Roku where you can give it a leash and let it go, you need some, you know, consolidation or legitimate pull for that to be the case. Well, again, this is not where they're starting to buy Roku. And, you know, we're seeing what? Weekly flow, right? So those are traders. They're not buying Roku and holding it for 6 months. They can't. They expire at the end of the week. They could be out of them for all we know already. So that's, you know, that's the type of things we want to look for. And then if you see a name better set up, right, at a spot where it hasn't moved, it's never saw sweeper activity or hasn't seen sweeper activity in a while, you know, and there's where you want to give a leash. You find a name or two to give a leash to. But the names that you guys like to trade, for the most part, they already had their moves. You know, they already have lifted with this market. They're already lifted with this market. And, you know, it's not just Roku. There's a gazillion names like this, right? And NVIDIA, we've been talking about that trade in NVIDIA this whole rally, right? Same thing. Same thing. You don't want to buy up here off of this, right? You want to wait for something like this, and then that would be your spot, right? Especially if you see some sweeper activity. Doesn't guarantee you're going to make money off there, but that's a better setup than chasing a 4-day rally into the highs after the move. Okay, especially with the backdrop we have, right? Especially with the backdrop we have. By the way, you got earnings coming up in NVIDIA. That should be interesting. Right? And we see right here. Look, I mean, this is a big deal? No. Right? NVIDIA was up a week straight here. Seems to have done it this whole entire move. Up, up, little breather, come in a little bit. Up, 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 little breather, come in a little bit. So, same thing. But there are trades here, right? If you're not greedy, right? And Tree, if you're out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because we, you know, this is something we've been talking about for the last few weeks, what we wanted to do. Oh, there you are, right? There are tactical trades where if you're not greedy, the market is going to give you some money, and it's up to you whether you want to take it or not, right? It's going to be less money, but a lot less risk. A lot less risk. All right. I see people talking about AMD, same thing. And AMD could end up going, a lot higher for all I know. I mean, AMD is a stud. All right. It's a good looking name. But regardless of whether it's going higher or not, you had a nice little setup, right? Caught a breather. And then you had some nice action come in. Mostly, well, actually, there was a couple nice sweeps on Friday. Okay. But let's say even Friday, you didn't pull the trigger. Monday morning, hot and heavy spec action, not enough. I mean, then, you got to take more risk. No? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And like I said, guys, I don't want to give the impression that like it's so easy and it works out every time, because you guys know it doesn't. Okay. It doesn't work like that all the time. But what I'm saying is, over the long run, you have a better risk reward on especially a short-term trade if you're allowing it to set up like that, rather than, again, we're wired differently. We want to buy it into the heat, right? Because it convinced us that it's bullish after running for 5 days. When they're pulling back, you feel bearish, right? Even if you're seeing sweeper activity into it, it's tough to buy because we're wired the wrong freaking way. But that's generally what we want to look for. You can apply this to every single name, and that's the tactical approach I speak of. Work. Who mentioned work? Bill mentioned work. Work, if you, okay, and I know a lot of people were looking for bigger and better, and that's totally fine. But if you wanted to trade work tactically, it's been a cash register, this work. Off every little breather, right? Every little breather. Now, holding for more would have been a little more frustrating. Still looks good, right? But rip, breather, right? So here you want to look for some flow, and they hit it every time, it seemed like, in these breathers. You get another nice rip to sell into, right? Breather. Again, most of you played it recently again. So you guys catch my drift here. That's where this is what I'm focused on, mostly off weakness, because I know a lot of these things are hot. Okay, they're hot. They've been up. A lot of these things are up huge. Okay, but the reason why I want to focus on these things in a tactical way, okay, we have hedge funds that haven't been involved at all, right? We just got the first signs. I'm waiting to see it on our indicator, but I saw the first signs of hedge funds covering short and starting to get long out of a Goldman Sachs note. And you know what they were getting long and covering shorts? This stuff. So if this is the stuff they're going to be forced into, what do you think is going to happen? These dips should be shallow. They should be bought. So that's the logic in looking at these things. Okay, and then once positioning becomes a lot fuller, then it's a whole different story, right? Then you're talking about that whole crowded trade, and you want to be careful buying pulls, because those pulls can end up turning into bigger pulls, larger pulls. All right, but we're not there yet. We still have a favorable backdrop of positioning and sentiment and Sharpies. Anybody have any questions? Yeah, I don't even trade that name, Avion, but that's, again, this is not a name, in my opinion, you want to try to catch a big trade out of, right? You get a little heat, you want to scalp it, that's the place to scalp it. Yeah, like ILMN, okay, is something you may want to look at differently, right? So ILMN is a biotech name. It never catches sweeper activity, right? You had a wash, niner to niner, breather, and then I can't remember the last time it caught sweeper activity. Okay, caught it today. Earnings, right? So now, biotech, right? Virus proof, obviously. So you may say, all right, you know what? This may be a name that September calls. This may be a name that I want to give a little leash to. And if this sucker ever breaks out and they want to own this thing, the risk reward is there. It's worth it. You know, this thing hasn't gone parabolic yet. This is not D-Dog yet. This thing has been stuck in, consolidation, wide, choppy range for a long time. So, but again, here's what I'm explaining to you. Like I played the September calls, okay? And my intention was to hold the whole entire position because I got some decent time. I'm not going to lie to you. I took some today. The stock ripped. I never thought, I had no intentions of even trying to catch a move today on those things at all. At all. But the stock went from red to up 12, 13, whatever the hell it was. So I took some off. I left a piece. You sold it too, Ani? I didn't have the intentions of doing that, but the market gave it to me. I said, why not? Why not? There were a couple names that were like that. I don't know if anybody played this name from yesterday, ENPH. I was looking, oh my God, I didn't even see that. Holy cow, I didn't even see that. But anyway, yesterday, I had no intentions of swinging this thing at all. That was my goal, to be tactical off the momentum. Initially, this thing's had a nice run, needs a breather. So, this is something different than an ILMN where, I'm going to sit through a potential pullback on equity, that sort of thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, this thing's been a beast. This thing's a beast. Now, granted, you're going to pull in this thing again, right? You're going to pull, and they hit it. I probably want to play it again. I probably only day trade it again. But I'm just giving you the two examples, of the differences, right? This thing is coming off 6 straight up days, right? And the other one has been consolidating, going sideways for a while, and is in a different set. This is solar, by the way. All I know is this thing is heavily shorted and can move. That's the only thing I know about it. The other thing I know about it is I thought it was an energy name when they were tattooing it. You remember, Ani, when they were tattooing this thing down here? I thought it was an energy stock. I totally ignored all of it. But this thing's a beast. I traded it a couple times. I don't think I've ever traded the calls, believe it or not. Yeah, well, you know what it was, Tree. The sweeper activity was pretty aggressive, and I know the name can move. But I was in equity. So it's a little different. It's a lot easier just to pull the plug. What else? What did you guys, anybody still in the Chewy? Chewy, yeah. So Chewy, is one of those new economy names. Whatever you wanted to do, you want to day trade it, you could have day traded it. Especially today, they give you a gift red. You want to, swing some calls into July. You're off a pullback here. Should hold better than some of the other ones that may come in. Did you play SDC? No, not recently. SDC earnings today, right? SDC. VTIQ, I didn't play any of that either. You believe that? SDC, this thing I never thought this move was going to be like this. Honestly. This thing was the biggest piece of garbage on the face of the earth. and blew through niner here. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. But yeah, this is what, a triple? Triple. Pre-earnings, did it report? Oh, not yet. Yeah, I haven't played SDC. I haven't played in a while. Since, probably since this niner I haven't played. The only times I played SDC was early on here. The only time I ever played it with any decent size was down in these neck of the woods. As it got up here, they were like quick scalps at the most. But this had a big move. Look at, yeah, you guys are throwing out those names. I didn't touch any of these, okay? I didn't touch any of these. Go ahead. I didn't touch any of these. And I'm totally content, with this rally and what I was in and how I played. But I didn't touch any of these. VTIQ, this DraftKings, I wanted to find a way to get a swing on. I couldn't do it because I just wasn't crazy about the spot. I botched it, the whole entire thing. The whole entire thing. But they tattooed this thing. Beyond, But look, a lot of these things are fried right now. They're fried. They're absolutely fried. Like you got to beyond, you got to look at when they hit it off weakness. What was the other one? VTIQ now is done. You can't play this thing now. Same thing. You need weakness. DraftKings, cooked, weakness. D-Dog, cooked, weakness. All these things are done. You need little breathers at the least. At the least. That's what I'm saying. You get some sweeper activity into a breather, and you at least can get a trade there. But be careful overstaying your welcome on some of these things that are fried like this. I mean, these are big moves. Net, this thing has had action for a while. This is a cloud play, right? Moon, net, software, yeah. This thing has had action for a bit now. Security, huh? Nah, the marijuana weed names I don't ever play. I don't like those weed names, to be honest. Too much riffraff money. SABR bought some equity today, not a bad spot. So for anything that hasn't rallied, yeah, and it got hot off of the ponytail pump. Oh, I see this thing faded too, huh? Wait, I thought it had a bigger move than this, didn't it? Oh, here it is. Yeah, you had ponytail pump here. And I remember there was a little buying recently too. Somebody told me there's a pretty big short position. I think this is the one. Unfi, I passed on that. I didn't want to buy it. What was it? Almost up $1 when it caught the sweep. I couldn't get myself. The stuff I played today that I bought today or traded today I was focused mostly on anything that was red early on. So this UNFI was up like 90 cents when it caught the sweep, and I just couldn't get myself to chase it, and it just exploded. It exploded. But there's been a lot of juice. There's been a lot of juice in these things. So you don't want to make it a habit of chasing. LVS is on the other side of things. Like you see how LVS now, again, it looks totally normal to what it's been doing. But there's a little selling there that's caused the trade rhetoric with China is starting up again. So the old playbook comes out, Steve. Basically, when you get these negative trade headlines, when Trump talks a big game against China, all that, they're going to sell the casinos. They're going to sell the semis. You're going to get likely algo selling off of them. Yeah. And that's why you can't blame them for staying away from all these names now, right? That's kind of like McElliott's call right now, isn't it? That's kind of McElliott's call. So, but I agree with his second half to his call, that come, whether it's a couple months towards the midsummer, end of the summer, there's probably going to be a nice opportunity in these things because the other side's going to be really, really crowded. The other side's going to be really, really crowded. What's this? Risk reward for equities maybe as bad as I've seen in my career. Drunken Miller speaking at an event. The V-shaped recovery says it's fantasy. Yeah, well, who sees V-shaped recovery? I don't think anybody sees that anymore. Well, I'll tell you what. Drunken Miller told you he saw the best setup in the world right before the virus hit. Not that he knew the virus was coming. Remember? Yeah. I mean, listen. Nobody could have figured this. If you handicap this, nobody could figure this. If you're looking at the economy and trying to figure out what letter it's going to turn out to be, you missed this whole move. You missed this whole move. So you can't. I think it's a waste of time. Exactly, Tree. I think right now the way we see things, okay, if you want to play conservative, right? So you don't see the bullish picture, right? And I think that's the smarter way to go right now anyway. So that's my opinion. But if you don't see the bullish picture out there, stay tactical, but lean bullish off weakness. It really is not that complicated. We only make it more complicated. Look to buy off weakness and lean bullish. And the reasons for that, the reasons for that. Positioning is empty. Everybody's in cash. Drunken Miller, get in line. You, Cooperman, everybody and their mother, Icon, they've been in cash, but they've been in cash, guys. They've been in cash this whole rally. You understand? This whole rally. This whole entire rally, they've been in cash. Right. You got the Fed, right? You got the Fed doing what they're doing. You got positioning empty, and the one group that's in are Sharpies. They're the only ones risk on right now in any major way. Hedge funds are nowhere to be found. Sharpies are short. No, Sharpies have been long for the past, I think this is 7 weeks now. Long. Did I say short? No, long. Right from here. Who's a Sharpie? Can we meet him? Can I call him up on the phone? I'm going to hold a charity fundraiser, a lunch with a Sharpie. No, but all kidding aside, right? Sharpies have been long, all in long. That's the most important part, right? So they're max long, and riffraff is max short from here. What sectors do you see that are cool that could heat up? Good question. you're not going to like the sectors that have room because they've been tough. But that's what to keep an eye out for the rest of this week. You know, if we see some weakness in the other stuff. So that would be financials. You might throw up in your mouth after you hit up the ticker. But financials, Utes, utilities, you know, those are the two that have the most room. You know, like tech is hot. Semis, they've cooled off recently, but you know, they were hot. Cooled off a little bit recently. Retail was scorched. By the way, that was another nice move. SFIX. Oh, not fix. SFIX. I held on to a little piece of stock too. I had to. I trade the thing every day, every time it catches flow. And I've been saying to hold some, and I never hold some. Let alone now it's 6 points higher. So I just left a little stock. At least I have a little exposure no matter what. But that was a nice day trade today. I don't know if anybody played it. Again, I played the equity, so it's a little different. You know, maybe this is not liquid enough for you guys to day trade. The options, I don't know, you know. But the equity, I can be a lot more nimble. If it doesn't move, I get the hell out. You know, it's not a big deal. With options, it could be a pain in the neck. No, so basically what we're capable of seeing out of the Sharpie camp, okay, is they start putting hedges back on, okay? So what I mean by that, what's normal, the way they play, okay, is they usually get long at some point where things get rinsed and the spec crowd is leaning short. That's where they usually end up long, okay? I should say it even clearer. That's usually where they take off the majority of their hedges, okay? So I'll give you an example. So you guys, it's a good question. So you guys know how this played out, okay? Here, the rally prior to the virus, okay, this rally here, hedgers, okay, the Sharpies, they were fully hedged, I think, starting from here. So they were max hedged, all right? So in other words, any further upside, they don't benefit one bit from, okay? You guys know what I mean, fully hedged. So think about your account being fully hedged, dead zero neutral, okay? That's where they were here, all right? And, you know, they looked bad for a little period of time right here, right? And then the market rolled over. They remained max hedge, right? Max hedged. They remained throughout this whole downdraft. So they didn't get hurt. They didn't feel any of this. Okay? They didn't feel not one lick of this crash affected them one bit. They were fully hedged. Okay? Here, okay, into these lows, little by little, they started taking off hedges. Okay? So little by little into these lows each week, they took off some hedges. Okay, so they weren't max hedged anymore. Okay, and then right here this week, this was the week here into this little weakness. Okay, this was the Friday. Right there is where they removed all hedges. Make sense? You understand now? So right there, which is uncommon for them, Okay, they removed all their hedges. So basically all in, full exposure. Okay, and they basically remained this whole rally so far without any hedges back on. So what's very common though, okay, which the years I'm following them, when a market, they get long, let's say here, right? They start taking off hedges here, and then they get max long here, right? No hedges on. As a market goes higher, trades higher, what they start to do into strength, they put some of their hedges back on, right? And then eventually, when things get stretched like they were over here, they'll be fully hedged, right? When they reach a point where they say, okay, I'm cool, I made my money, let the market go higher without me, I'm going to be protected just in case this shit comes. All right? That's what they usually do. But so far this rally, and that's why if you've been attending these webinars, we've been giddy, right, for the past 6-7 weeks, they haven't put on any hedges at all yet into strength. Okay, they maybe this is the first week they put, they put hedges on. Maybe in, they decide to do it in a 1 or 2 week span where they just decide to put all their hedges back on. But that's why we monitor it every week. So, we got to cross that bridge when we come to it. At least let's see them start to put hedges on, let alone fully hedged. But the main reason they haven't done that yet, the main reason is because the riffraff money, the spec money, is loaded to the gills in shorts. Okay? They've been short the market the whole rally, and they're still short the market. So the way the Sharpies work, they probably don't give a rat's ass until the riffraff gets squeezed, until the spec money gets squeezed and comes out of that short position. They're probably going to remain fully long. You know what I mean? So that's the logic. And that's generally what we're looking to do, right? Those of you who are members, that's what we're looking to do. We want to be on the opposite side of the riffraff. Okay? As long as we're there, more often than not, we're going to be in good shape. That's a good question. I've seen it worse than this, man. I've seen it worse than this. That's a great question. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I know the exact answer to that. I don't know. Right? Where does the money come from? I don't know. But you can look back, Nick, on that chart, okay? And I think it was 2016. I think it was 2016, if I'm not mistaken, okay? They were max short for a while. Then they got squeezed a little bit. Then there was a little weakness, right back to max short again. It was like they kept going into that max short position every little chance they can get. And this is what happened, This rally. All right? And, that's what I'm trying to stress to you guys. Like, coming out of this, okay, 2016. So you see the chart here. This is 2016, okay? So what I'm explaining to you guys is Sharpies were all in short into the lows and got run over, okay? Let's say right here. Again, I'm just ballparking it. They covered some of their short. There was a little weakness here. Back again, all in short. Squeezed, covered a little short. Weakness, back in all in short. Squeeze, covered some of this short. This, back in all in short. And then finally, they started taking off their shorts like midway through. You can see it on the chart, Nick, if you go back and look. Amazing. It was amazing. But I got deja vu because I remember back here in 2016, and those of you, some of you were around, Joey, you were around if you were out there. If you remember, we pretty much were talking about the same playbook, okay? It doesn't mean we go chase and we're going to be okay, but these pullbacks, these breathers, as long as that continues, right? As long as the riffraff continues to get max short and hedges are max long, this dip is an opportunity. This dip is an opportunity. 2016 was elections. No, 2016 was Bazooka Joe. That wasn't the elections. 2016, you're talking about here was the elections. The end. Right, Pablo? I'm talking about here off those of you who remember the Bazooka Joe lows. That's where Deutsche Bank, where people thought it was the next Lehman Brothers, oil, headaches. People thought this was 2008 coming again. Yeah, the dips should be shallow. Again, shallow meaning, you see what went on here, right? Dips get bought. That was the difference. As long as we continue to see what we're seeing right now, right? If we see the opposite, then we got to change course of plan, right? If we see riffraff buying the dip, then we're going to poop our bloomers. So, but as long, again, you can't predict the future, So as long as we continue, as long as we're seeing what we're seeing right now, you want to look towards weakness as opportunities. That's what I confess to being we're all riffraff, Jay. That's the whole point. We're all riffraff. Every single one of us, I don't care who you are. Me, you, Kesh, Pablo, Sean, Ani, all of you are riffraff. We're all riffraff. Ranchero's riffraff, wherever he is. Everyone's riffraff. And again, that's individually, that doesn't mean we're wrong all the time. Individually, we can be right, we can be wrong, but when we all agree, that's a powerful thing. When we all agree on something, bet the other side. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This game is not, there's no such thing as everybody being wrong all the time, everybody being right all the time. But there's logic behind when the riffraff is positioned one way, why it never works. There's logic behind it in this game. Sports, you can make the argument, the football can hit the goalpost and bounce out instead of in for that game-winning field goal. You can't control that, right? You can make that argument in sports playing against the riffraff. In this game, it's all about sentiment and positioning. That's all that matters. Yeah, exactly, Ryan. We've seen it play out right in front of our eyes. I mean, I told you guys when we had this webinar, 6 weeks ago, okay? I know it's hard to try to lean bullish right now. New York, I'm in New York. There's COVID, Corona all over the yard. It's like zombie nation over here. How the hell can stocks go higher? I have no idea. But the riffraff is short. Sentiment's washed out completely. Nobody owns anything. And Sharpies are all in. Don't ask questions. You know what I mean? We all agree the market looks awful, but when you look yourself, that's what I tell you, when you guys look yourself in the mirror and you admit, I don't know shit. I may be intelligent. I may know this game. I may know how business works. But when it comes to the actual market, start going up and down, I don't know shit. Everything I know, there's a lot more savvy and smarter people with better resources who know the shit I know 6 months ago. When you finally come to that conclusion, you'll see the light. You'll see the light anyway, trust me, because you'll handicap and go ahead, Tree, put it up there, put the word up there with the pound sign. What is it again? Put the word, Tree, study. There it is. All right? You can study and handicap until you turn purple in the face, right? Look at the charts, look at the balance sheets, look at the economic numbers, all that crap. Means nothing. Means nothing. Yeah, it means nothing for the market going up and down. You know, the market, you see people bugging out now, right? Oh, the market's doing this and the economy's going the other way. Ask the cash ratio. But anyway, all right, so that's the playbook. And listen, I wish we were at, of course, there's nothing better than being at this spot, right? Or even this. That's where we're most excited because that's where we know stuff is bound to take off. That's the initial entry, as we like to call it. But the only way to play it now, the only way to look at it now is look towards, as long as we still see what we're seeing, look towards weakness as opportunities. All right, doesn't mean the market can't go down. It's kind of, again, go look at a 2016 chart the whole year. There were pullbacks. I'm sure during those pullbacks, it felt like Armageddon, the whole 9 yards. But we look towards those opportunities as, look towards that weakness as opportunities, And that's the beauty of it, okay? Listen, I know a lot of you play ES or SPY, and that's where you focus on solely. And what I would say to you is that, again, weakness would be the opportunity. You want to play ES, you want to look for opportunities there. You want to look for, you want to look for it off weakness, off fades. That's where you want to lean bullish, okay? But for a lot of us who play individual names, and a lot of you guys out there play individual names, you see, right in front of you, this, even for the past week or two, right? The ES has done nothing special. Yeah, it was a nice rally here off a pull. Look under the hood. The names have been ridiculous. You would have thought the market went parabolic with some of the names that we were looking at. You get a little lucky and hold on to them, a little bit longer by accident, you make more money. But that's luck, that's all luck. Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm looking at, John. I want breathers, right? Some selling in the names that have been catching action, right? And the groups that have been catching action. And then if some sweeper activity there, that's what I'm looking at. ES is what? Oh, you only use ES for a hedge? Yeah, but I know there's a lot of people, who solely like to play, like Lewis in the room, solely plays ES. But watch how Lewis plays. He looks at sentiment with all his levels every day. That's what he does. He's got his levels. He knows where sentiment's at. He's got a game plan every day. So everybody's different. We're all playing different things. What's that mean, Panks? basically what I'm just showing you there is that there's no one particular order there, okay, but there's volume there. So in other words, Peloton was trading 5 times its normal volume. Okay, and then you can see, like it says, there it is, 68% calls. You know, it gives you an idea of what the flow looks like. So Trade Alert gives me updates like that from time to time. Sometimes we won't see any action in that name. Sometimes we do, you know, but I throw them out there because it may be a name you're in, maybe a name you're looking at, you know, so you might find momentum there. Peloton, did that reverse too? That thing, I mean, what a crazy move. I like Peloton. I don't like the company. I'm just saying the stock has treated me well. This Peloton. Look at this, right? Another name, Uber, right? They've been just piling into for a while. Twilio, come on, right? Like, give me a break. Look at that. Jesus Christ. Look at this Twilio. I didn't even realize, I thought it was over here, honestly. I thought it had that big gap and it was hanging here. It actually pushed higher? Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's the stock of the rally, CW. No doubt. I don't care. You can't find me another stock. This is the stock of this rally, without a doubt. W. Amazing. God forbid, right? We can sit in one of these. Exactly, unicorn. God forbid. Nah. Pink Panther. Pfft. It's like Pink Panther my ass. W saying. Unbelievable. But yeah, there's you know, not like this, but there's been a lot of these, a lot of big moves out there. You guys are throwing out names. Every name I see you guys posting, all, you know, it's been really nice moves, right? This one too. Look at this. And Grant, listen, the one thing we can't beat ourselves up about, you have earnings has been a big catalyst this quarter for a lot of these names. You know, could have went the other way. So, you know, it's part of the game. Like a lot of these big moves, Twilio, this one here. The W that was earnings, well, the last part of it. So you're telling me W had this run into the number and then gapped up again? Exactly, Tree. You had to hold through earnings, so it doesn't bother me as much. Yeah, Lucci, honestly, you're right. A lot of these names, like Lucci likes to fish around for a short. Just gravity, right? PayPal. I actually owned the PayPal. I didn't hold it through earnings. As a matter of fact, I sold it a week before earnings, which made no sense. And it was up every day that week. Square. Come on. That's a nice move, Square. CMG, you guys have been talking about, wow, all the way back. Shop is a beast. Shop's a beast. All right? Shop's a beast. Right. There's two names, right? FSLY, LVGO. Like, look what this rally gave birth to. A lot of big time moves. PZZA, I used to own once upon a time. Yeah, all of these, without a doubt, Praveen, are all extended. They're all extended, you know? So you can't be surprised when you see flushes in these things, and you got to be careful, especially chasing green. You know, but as much, there's two misconceptions out there. One, everybody talks about FANG. They're still talking about FANG as all the money's going into FANG and Microsoft. That's the new symbol, FAMG, whatever they do. But it's a lot bigger and larger chunk than just FANG, right? We just rattled off 50 names that have participated in this rally. So these bears telling me it's just FANG carrying the market. That's not the case. All right. But, to Praveen's point, they're extended, but look at everything else, right? JP Morgan is not extended. Boeing is not extended. The casinos aren't extended. You know what I mean? So as a whole, the market's not overextended. It's the new economy stuff that's extended. That's the stuff that all the loose money with the Fed doing what it did, right? All the smart money, they bought up all these high growth future economy names. They're the future. You know what I mean? You see it already, like these names like Teladoc. This is the future. So the smart money, right? The quote unquote sharp money, they came in and bum rushed these things because while everyone's looking at PE multiples, they were cheap. These things are going to benefit off the new economy. They're not going to suffer. They're not going to suffer. That's why Frank, I think W is a retailer, but that's why you're seeing some of these new economy retail names perk up. You know what I mean? You're starting to see a name like Stitch Fix, which is not your traditional brick and mortar retail name, right? What was the one that was, like a Peloton, right? That's, again, people can't go to the gym, right? It's retail, they sell bikes, whatever they do. So, but that's what happened. The money, with the Fed doing what they did, liquidity out the wazoo, there's money on the sidelines. You see those charts that I post every week of money market funds, right? How much money is in there? Well, there's never been a big, such a large rush into money markets ever. They take pieces of that money and they find these new economy hot growth names, and they're finding all of them. D-Dog, all of them. Chewy. Zoom was one of the first ones, right? Zscaler. It just happens to be a lot are software related because that's a big part of it. But they're not all. Yeah, Lulu, right? Lulu, look at it. Looks great. You know what's another name that looked great? I'm kicking myself off the risk reversal. Home Depot. Oh, not JD. JD too, by the way. But you got that China mix in there. What the hell am I doing here? Hello? What's going on? There we go. Look at that. Right back. Oh, look, that risk reversal was a score. And now, right, you couldn't see it then, but now you see the logic there, Ani, right? No one's buying new homes because everyone's locked in their house. What do? They fix their houses, right? You spending more time in your home, you fix your home. Right now, you start to see the reasons why this thing got bid up like that. But there's a lot of fun left. There's a lot of fun left. We're so short-minded. There's going to be a point in time when the economy gets back on track, and there's going to be more to it than just the hot momentum plays that are out there right now. There's going to be more broader participation in this rally. And the likelihood is it's going to come when riffraff is short and Sharpies are long, wherever that may be. It's just not here yet. It's just not here yet. Not all these names that are beaten up, but there's going to be a nice chunk of them that come back. There's going to be a portion of them that don't. Yeah, APT, I remember you mentioning it on the Sunday webinar, Tim. Caught a little action today. I was looking for you. You weren't around. Yeah, that's it, Ani. That you hit the nail on the head. There's no reason, again, you want to scalp, you want to be quick, that's one thing. If you don't like the spot, you don't feel comfortable a spot, a name has already run, right? You missed it, you're kicking yourself, be patient, wait. The healthiest moves, always, there's more than enough names to get your hands on. There's no reason to chase an extended name after you watched it run for 3 days. The Sharpies, basically their net short would be max hedged, basically. That they don't ever get net short. Max hedged. How am I playing what, Brent? BAC, I own it. I own it. Jans. If you want to go a little closer, they played Octobers. I played the Jans. You got Octobers? Yeah, if maybe they hit it again, and when I add, maybe I'll go shorter and play Octobers. But yeah, if you remember, I said if they come after it again, I'm going to buy it, and they came after it again, And this stock has been good to me, especially when they're good to you, you got to fire. You got to fire. At least take a stab at it. And if they keep hitting it and it stays down here, you could always add to it. I think it was here the last time off this pull I played it. They tattooed it. And it had a real nice run. They are the best. The problem is around earnings season, Ani, where you can't trust them because you think maybe they're selling stock and replacing with a risk reversal. But when they're not earnings related, they're always the best. Always the best. SE, initial activity, was risk reversals. The problem with them, sometimes they come with a lot of time behind them. So you got to be patient, That's the problem. A lot of times the risk reversal, the majority of them come with time. I know, me too. But believe it or not, the ones, like I give an example, like BHC, right? I bought Jans. It might be slower to move. This is that's where my larger size winners come from. The names like a D-Dog, I'm too quick to sell them when they start moving right away. The names that maybe I'm underwater on initially, or they're not doing much, those are the names I end up sticking around longer for. I have a tendency to do that. Where it should be the opposite, really. If they start moving earlier on and I have time, I should leave it alone. No. I'm all effed up in the head. All right, guys, any other questions? Baba, you got earnings. I mean, he's been catching ridiculous action, but you have earnings there. When's that? What, tomorrow? Baba? That'd be fun. Oh, 5/22. It's always a different date than what I'm seeing with this Baba. Yeah, but so you have earnings there. There's no real call to make there. See, off earnings, if the stock is still here and catching action, that would be your entry. I mean, if you're going to play, if you're an earnings player anyway, it might be worth a shot based off the flow. Yeah, all my dates are different, the earnings dates on a lot of these names. Healthcare, I liked him, healthcare. I like CNC, CI, those type of names. I like all those names. UNH, let me see UNH. That's a nice. I made money with this last pullback, UNH. Healthcare, biotech, they all look good. ABBV started moving. Didn't Bristol Myers start moving today a little? Yeah, a little bit. off that little breather. Oh, I think that was a block, but Anthem, I know that. Yeah, they all look the same. They all look good. They all look good. You know, I still, if you can, try to buy them off weakness. You know, when you buy them off weakness, you might have a trade there, or you might want to give it a leash. That's the beauty if you happen to click off weakness. Do I think? I don't know, but I'll tell you one thing. If we'll see how sentiment looks like when they update tonight, but if, what the hell is this? Oh, that's different ES. If we get a little weakness tomorrow, we probably got a squeeze opportunity on our hands in the indices off this little pull today. You know, we'll see. Like, look at this, right? It was a little pull. We had a 35 on the squeezometer. I think that's the lowest it got to. And, you know, this little rally was pretty nice, especially underneath the hood and names. So hopefully this pull sets up the same thing wherever it ends. But we'll see, you know, we'll see what the short-term stuff, how it looks tomorrow. Yeah, the flow looked bullish. There was just some rolling in the afternoon, both puts and calls. But the flows look bullish. Yeah, we have earnings still. You get earnings crap and all that stuff. But everything's fine. Nothing, no changes to what we were seeing. All right, and each and every week we reevaluate. We got all the signals in front of us in real time. They change week to week. As long as we're paying attention and listening to them with an open mind, that's all that matters. All right, guys, enjoy the night. Stay safe out there. Thanks for stopping by. Anybody who's new, wallstreetjesus.com if you have any questions. I'll see the rest of you mañana.